Are you searching for direction in life? Have you given all of yourself to everyone else and have very little for yourself? Have you put you on the back burner while taking care of the responsibilities of everything and everybody else while neglecting yourself? Life coach and mentor Mischell Gee has told us the wait is over. In this new movement called the Green Room, she's assembled friends of every walk of life that will share with us transformative principles that will change our life trajectory. Come join us for the Green Room experience. Your life will never be the same.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Green Room. I am so excited to see each and every one of your faces here this evening as we perform the work that is assigned for us to do tonight here in the Green Room. And I'm honored this evening. I am more than honored this evening. The Green Room is about sisterhood. It's about women gathering. It's about us supporting each other. It's about us motivating each other. And most importantly, it's about us coming together and putting aside our differences to find out that we're more alike than we are different. Tonight is a special night for me tonight because I am joined on the stage tonight with my sisters. And I know you say, she says that in every segment. Tonight I have my biological sisters on the stage with me tonight. And I can't be any more proud. So I have my baby sister, Sharde Glenn. And this is my oldest sister, Lachandra Kendrick Sims. And the three of us are sisters, of course. And what makes it really interesting for tonight's episode is that my sisters share something in common outside of the fact that they're sisters. They have both lost their child. And so tonight we wanted to talk about the bonds of sisterhood and how even in sad situations and in unfortunate situations, we bond together and we uphold each other through the waiting process. We've declared in the Green Room that the wait is over, that there's no need to wait, that God has allowed us into this place and into this time so that we can take possession of all that there is here for us. We understand that there's a process to get to where we are, but we're here now, and aren't we glad? Aren't we glad to be here? Aren't we glad that the wait is over?
Yeah.
So we are so extremely glad this evening that the wait is over. The wait was long. The wait was hard, but the wait was worthwhile because it brought us to this moment in time. And so also on the stage tonight, we have Nikki Carswell, who's my sister friend, who has a foundation in the community that supports mothers who have lost their children. And so we're really lifting that up tonight. You know, no parent should have to bury their child. You know, we think as parents that it would be the reverse. But sometimes that's not the will and that's not the way things end up. And so even in that, we have found a way to become community, become one with one another, and to support one another. And so I'm so sincerely glad tonight. And so I want to start tonight with Lachandra. And I'm going to ask you what I ask all of the guests on the show. Would you tell us about your weight? Give us your weight.
So for me, my weight was once I lost my son, Nicholas. Sure.
You can share.
This is Nicholas. Nicholas Bernard Robinson II. He was born March of 1991, November 1991, I'm sorry. And he passed February 1992. The waiting process with him, well, let me go back to the beginning. When I carried him, they diagnosed him with hydrocephalus. That's a condition in the brain where also where his lungs didn't develop. So they did tests on me periodically throughout the pregnancy, and they determined that his brain wasn't fully developed. So once I delivered him, they told me a whole lot of negative things that he wouldn't be able to do. Well, he beat those odds. We were able to bring him home. He was able to do simple things that they say he wouldn't be able to do. One thing was to suck a pacifier. He was able to do that. Another thing, he wouldn't be able to feed from a bottle. He was able to do that. So in my mind, I felt like he would be okay long haul. So I think, well, I know now, back then I kind of blocked a whole lot of natural things that we should actually be focused on. I blocked it out. And so when he transitioned, I had a hard time. I had a real hard time. I'm not one to vocalize pretty pretty much anything. I internalized everything. So when he transitioned, that's what I did. I went into a shell. I had my mom and my sister with me there naturally, but I went into a shell within my mind before they even knew it. And like I said, I blocked everybody out. So when he transitioned, it was like I was in a daze for a while. I was here existing, but I wasn't existing. And I felt myself drifting off very often. And I remember one time, the last time, we was in the garage at my mom's house, and she had came home and she had groceries in the car. So we were supposed to go outside to get the groceries out of the car. I went outside to get the groceries, help get the groceries out of the car, and my mind just went. It was like the groceries was in my hand, and then the groceries was on the floor. And it was like I was just standing there like, just froze, didn't know what to do. So at that point, I knew, okay, Lachandra, you got to get some help. My sister hadn't lost a child. My mom hadn't lost a child. So I knew I needed to reach out to somebody that had been in that situation. So I did. At the time, it was 2 older ladies from church that had lost children. So I reached out to them, and they called me. I talked to them frequently. Like, it was like rotating. And that was like my lifeline. They were older sister friends, mature women, gave me wisdom, helped me deal with and cope with and navigate what I was feeling, all of that. So I think my weight I actually just was released from weight once I had another child. I didn't realize that I was carrying on the weight, not necessarily the physical weight, but the weight of parenting, losing a child. So when I had my next child, Courtney, Charles, Sydney, Chris, I realized at that point, okay, these are mine. I don't want them out my sight. They can't go stay to auntie house. They can't go stay to Nana house. They can't go stay to my house, grandma, nobody house. I want them with me all the time. And at that time, I realized just with this, that I had a weight on me that I wasn't even aware of, or actually until I'm actually vocalizing it now. So my weight was being a parent again and letting my children go and knowing that they'll be okay. So the burden of being a mom, or the heaviness of being a mom and losing them, I think, well, I know that was my weight. And I had to come to grips with that to let it go.
Right. Yeah. Weight is over.
So my weight is over.
Yes.
What's up?
Sharde, tell us about your weight.
Okay, so my weight was depression. And for a long time, I smiled through it. A lot of people didn't know I was going through it. I still kind of go through it. I don't know, losing my son kind of took a piece of me. And for a long time, I went through depression. I kind of, instead of bonding with my kids that I have currently, after him, I kind of just went into, it's like you said, internal shell. I depressed a long time, but nobody knew. I smiled through my depression. I had an incident where nobody knows that one day, like Shannon said, my mind just kind of went blank. I was sitting in traffic with my youngest son, Zion, and my mind was distraught. And I drove out into traffic, and we almost got hit by 12 cars. But after I got to the other side, after the cars let me through, like something in me told me I can't do this. I have other kids to live for, and that was the weight. I had to let it go in order to be able to be the best mom that my kids needed. I can't let them see me in depression. I can't not be the best mom for them because I lost one, because I still have them to take care of.
Yeah.
So my weight was my depression, and finally it lifted. I know I'm crying now, but it's just kind of sore because it still feels fresh to me.
But the wait is over.
It is.
And I'm glad to see you living and loving again.
Yeah.
Nikki has a wonderful program that she does here in the community with moms who have lost their children. Can you talk a little bit about your foundation and what goes on in the weight?
Yes. So for me, my weight physical was to learn how to balance. When you think about weight, you think about the W-A-I-T, and then you think about the W-E-I-G-H-T weights. So for me, when I learned how to balance my weights, because in weight is levels, and so with God, I had to let go and let God, because I was trying to control a lot of things that weighs you down. So once I learned how to balance those things, then the levels of weight started happening for me, where I was able to walk through my purpose. Silent Women Speaking is a foundation where I do help moms cope with losing a child. I've never lost a child. So for me, it was listening to God, getting that balance, and learning how to, wanting to build that sisterhood, and knowing that one day it could be me. So in the process of me waiting, I thought God was preparing me for my son. So I didn't want to do it because I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe God's preparing me. Maybe he's telling me I need to get ready, to bury my son. Like, why am I walking in this purpose of helping moms, of slaying children? But the more I kept, I just let go. I heard him, and the wait for me is once I listen and I walk through things, doors just start opening for me. So for me, my wait was just that balance that I needed to let go and let God just move me how he wanted me to work. Whatever his will was for me to walk through, that's when I realized that my wait was starting to be balanced, and it was also me walking in my purpose to help these mothers.
Wonderful. We all deal with weight, and that's the sneaky thing about weight. It slips up on us.
Yes.
And we don't even realize that we're weighted down.
Yeah.
We look up one day and we think, how did we get to this place? Driving out in traffic, dropping the grocery. How did we get to this? Because I've been saying I'm fine. We've been masking it. We are taught to mask things as women. Healing can't begin when you're masking. It's only when we take the mask off and we're not afraid to be naked and unashamed of our testimonies and the trials that we've been through, that we can be healed and that others can be healed. And I thank God that we're in a place now where we're starting to have the conversations so that healing can take place. Yes. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So I have a person in the audience that I've invited here to speak to us, Dr. Bernard Franklin, and he's coming to the microphone. We wanted to speak to the fact about children and losing your children, and how no parent is prepared to lose them. And we wonder a lot of times why things have happened or why situations have come to be. And does God, or is God the author of these things? And how does this happen in the spirit realm? So when we return from commercial, we're going to have Dr. Franklin speak to God's divine purpose and the things that God allows in our life.
In our world, women wear many hats. Whether she's our sister, auntie and mothers, or godmother, she tends to go out of her way to make everyone okay. But who checks on her? Lifetree Women Care Clinic believes in addressing all of women's health issues and preventative care issues to keep you going. Our state-of-the-art facility that can directly address all of a woman's health concerns. The caring staff of the Lifetree is waiting to serve you. Our director says it like this.
My goal is to meet every woman, one woman at a time, right where she is, and let her tell me what she needs so that we can work together to meet those needs.
Every woman deserves the best treatment, no matter what. We promise to treat the whole woman at the Lifetree Women's Care Clinic. Schedule your appointment today.
Isn't that the place to start?
Do you need a morning prayer line? A place you can call to hear from God? Call the International Prayer Council Intercessory Prayer Line, Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 904-299-7241.
This season of the time that we're living in, The people will have more joy in God. Amen. I'm so appreciative that you tuned in.
Build up your most holy faith by hearing what
22 says, listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. It's our responsibility to pour this into our children. We ought to tell them what they ought to do, how they ought to do. They're not supposed to be shaping us. We're supposed to be shaping them. I heard somebody rightfully say that it's easier to build a child than to repair an adult.
Do you want to do a podcast, an actual video podcast, but don't have the equipment? Thought it would be impossible? Well, the impossible can become possible. Give us a call today. We can have your podcast on all of the major platforms in less than 3 days. Our staff is standing by to assist you.
And welcome back. This evening we have joining us Dr. Bernard Franklin, who's going to expound on what God allows and accepting what God allows in our lives. And so, Dr. Franklin, in your own way.
Amen. So, as I'm listening, I'm excited about being here at the Green Room. The truth of the matter is, I've experienced loss, right? We've all experienced loss. And sometimes we question. I was taught at a young age, you don't question God. That was a lie. Because Jesus said it like this, I can be touched by the feelings of your infirmities, which deals with relationship with the master on, God, why did you even allow me to experience this? Why would you even allow this pain to be so great? The truth is, God never makes mistakes. But there's a place in our life that our culture have not really fully grasped, and that is grieving and grieving properly. We have to allow our feelings. We are made of spirit, soul, and body. And a lot of us, we're church babies. We come out of shouting, and we seen our grandmother them say, hey, call on Jesus. But what about the Jesus that deals with our heart? The stuff nobody sees. The tears that fall on our pillows when everybody walk out the room. That is the person he's after. He's after the person that says, you know what, I'm tired. God, I really want to love, but don't know how to love. God, I lost my child, and I have other children, but I don't even know how to communicate with them. Well, he said, trade in your sorrows. He said, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. So my encouragement to the Green Room tonight is, whatever your loss is, God does not make a mistake. But one thing God will do is he'll reveal the purpose in your trial, in your pressure, in your pain. Because he said, I know the way that you take, and when you've been tried in the fire, and the truth is, we all been tried. It may not be a child. You could have went through a divorce. But in this room tonight, in this Green Room, everybody is walking through a healing. How you heal is up to you. You could heal and be better, or you could be bitter and don't heal. But I promise you, hallelujah, I speak over this room that you will heal on purpose. And healing on purpose is being honest. The first thing you could do is be honest with yourself that I'm not well. I don't have it all together. That the pain I feel really hurts. But God, you know all. And I give it up to you. So that's my wisdom to the Green Room. Heal on purpose.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And as I look at the Green Room audience, I look at the ladies and the wonderful parents, and I see the pictures of the babies who have been taken from this realm until the next realm. And I'm looking at this young man, and I just want to know his story. I want to know who your baby is. Can you introduce your baby to the Green Room? to my angel sister on the front row with the amazing picture of her son. Can you come to the microphone and introduce us to your son? Okay.
Well, my name is Melissa Jackson. This is my son, Corbin Johnson. My son, Corbin, went missing July the 12th, 2018. His dad had took him to a job interview, and he came home. We talked, walked him down the stairs, and he never came back. I received a phone call the next day from his friends. They were asking me, have you seen Corbin, Miss Melissa? I was like, yeah. They was like, well, he's missing. We haven't seen him. I couldn't understand, how he was missing. You could think that he was missing. It hasn't even been 24 hours. So I called his dad and told him, what his friends had told me about Corbin. And their stories were kind of changing. So we ended up calling the police, and, we took our report. And for a whole 365 days, my son was missing. And that was my wait. That was a long, long wait. But I went to work every day. I still managed to get up. The thing that I know that God told me is, if you get up, I'll do the rest. You just have to keep getting up. You cannot, in your pain, because God doesn't change. And so in my pain, I had to look the same and talk the same through everything. And when I received the call on, like I said, he went missing July 12, 2018, they found his skeletal remains July the 12th, 2019. And at that, on the same day, I told God, I said, I cannot go another year without knowing where my baby was. But when they found him, the only thing that was left of him was his shoes. And he was just a skeleton. But I can tell you that I make it every single day. I cannot control the person that caused my pain, but I can control how I heal. And so I'm healing well. I have a foundation myself that's called Loving Mother Marys. And Marys is an acronym, is Mothers Are Raising Your Sons. And so that's my story. And that's introducing you to, he was 18 years old, Corbin Odell Johnson, my baby.
Would you lift this picture up so that everybody in the green room can see him? Thank you for sharing. It's amazing. These children belong to somebody. They were loved. They are loved. They lived. They had purpose. They had meaning. And even when they're with us no longer, they still have purpose. They're still loved. And their life still have meaning. Coming back to you, Nikki, can you tell us some of the activities that some of your ladies do in the community with the group that you work with, the mothers?
Yes, ma'am. Our last group we did, we had Melissa. She was the facilitator. We did that. We have a small support system where we all get together. We eat, laugh, have a good time. Our next one is August 14th. We're going to do a potluck where each mother is going to bring their child's favorite food. We do get-togethers. We have Mother's Day brunches. We have social gatherings. So it's just a way of bringing that sisterhood and our bond together so they can properly heal in certain areas that they need to.
So there is hope in the community. There is sisterhood. If we begin to speak on issues that affect us and that concern us, then we'll see the change that we need to see in our communities. But it's not until we speak, until we recognize that there's a need and we act on it. I believe that in our studio audience here tonight, there are those of you that are passionate about things of this nature. And we've got to figure out how to move from being passionate to being active on them. I'd like to see foundations popping up in these children's lives. I was glad to see our sister friends talking about her foundation and the other things that we have going on with the children. It's really amazing. I was thinking about when we were planning for this episode, I didn't want it to be sad and I didn't want it to be solemn. I wanted to celebrate the lives of some of the babies. And so I've got other people in the audience. And if you would like to share your child with the studio audience, this is an opportunity. You can share your photo and tell us who your child was. And so Is there anybody else that would like to share their child? I would like to start. I'm not sharing my child, but I'm sharing the child of my best friend, who's one of my godchildren. And so I dedicate this episode to her, Kiana Patrice Davis, who passed away last July the 23rd. And she was loved. She is loved. She had purpose in her life. She had meaning in her life. And even though she isn't with us anymore, we feel her here today. She loved children. She loved acting. She loved just having fun. She loved life. And so it's amazing that we're sitting here. We would have never known that a year ago that this would be her lot. But we thank God for her life. I thank God for her mom, who is a strong mother, who raised her to be loving, who loved children and was a lover of life. So I wanted to share my Kiana Patrice. And so we've shared Jeremiah. No, we didn't share Jeremiah. We got to share Jeremiah. That's Jeremiah Powell, who is 9 years old. And he was the sweetest little thing you ever knew. Yes, he was. You know, you have the good child and the child that you always saying, sit down, stop. No, Jeremiah was definitely the good child. And so we celebrate the life that Jeremiah lived. And we celebrated him even the more, knowing that we gained an angel with Jeremiah. And Lachandra showed you a picture of Nicholas. We celebrate his life. Though it was a short life, about 4 months, we loved him. He was my mom's first grandchild. And all the things that she said, the challenges that she said that he had, yeah, I guess we all were in denial because, you know, he was like the superhero. That's all we talked about. That was all the pictures we flashed. He was loved, and he is loved, and he has never been forgotten. And so we're really excited about that. And so I want to kind of wrap up the segment and end this in talking about children and their place. When they're young, they're on our hands. We have to do things for them. We have to change the diapers. We have to feed them. We have to clothe them, go to work and clothe them. When they're older, they are on our heart. We've got to pray for them. We've got to love them. We've got to show them love. We've got to be an example. These are things that we have to do. And though these children are no longer with us, there are children all around the world, our children and other children that need our love. And so if we can lend our hearts to children, the world would be a better place. And I want to leave that right there in the green room tonight. Let's lend our hearts to children all over the world, not just my children, your children, and your children, and your children, so that the world will be a better place. And welcome back. We learned tonight that grief, especially from losing a child, is not just something that you get over. In fact, some days it'll be very hard, and other days you'll find it to be a little bit easy. But eventually, grief should move to the background. However, it will always be present in one way or another. I hope that something you heard tonight makes the burden of grief a little bit easier for those that carry it, and provide additional insight and understanding to those in the community that are charged with supporting you. It's me, Mischell Gee, here in the green room, and I'm sounding the alarm. The wait is over.
Are you in the market to buy new appliances or to buy new furniture or a computer, but you are concerned about prices? Prices nowadays are simply astronomical, and you need to be able to purchase it low, but in a convenient way. Let me introduce you to the Maxwell Club. The Maxwell's Club will allow you to be able to purchase directly from the manufacturer. The price of Maxwell's Club is only $39.99 a year. You can shop with thousands upon thousands of manufacturers. Finally, you as the consumer have the power to purchase like some of the major companies. As a benefit of membership, you get discounts and perks around the world at places that you shop at. Sign up today. www.maxwells.club.
In our world, women wear many hats. Rather, she's our sister, auntie and mother's, or godmother. She tends to go out of her way to make everyone okay. But who checks on her? Lifetree Women Care Clinic believes in addressing all of women's health issues and preventative care issues to keep you going. Our state-of-the-art facility that can directly address all of a woman's health concerns. The caring staff of the Lifetree is waiting to serve you. Our director says it like this.
My goal is to meet every woman, one woman at a time, right where she is, and let her tell me what she needs so that we can work together to meet those needs.
Every woman deserves the best treatment, no matter what. We promise to treat the whole woman at the Lifetree Women's Care Clinic. Schedule your appointment today.
Isn't that the place to start?